Hey, this is Class Creatives, and in this special video edition, we'll discuss how the best studios in the world actually create incredibly detailed and complex assets quickly and professionally without losing any of the high fidelity once it hits the final version inside a game engine or final production. This video collaboration with Aunmar's 3D and Tav Shande will dive into professional techniques for 3D asset creation, and we'll look directly into how AAA titles like The Last of Us, Valorant, and Assassin's Creed utilize trim sheets and how you can take this approach to your own personal or professional projects. We plan to do a lot more technical videos from Aunmar's and Tav, so please leave a comment and let us know what you want to see from us next time. Let's get into it.
How do games create such large, high-detailed environments without uniquely texturing every single object? The answer, trim sheets. And we're going to cover that in today's 3D Art Talk video. So we jump over here and look at a few of these examples. If you've never heard of the word trim sheets, well, you're in for a good time. Let's look at this example from Assassin's Creed Mirage. We have Camille here, who has done an amazing job showing the material created as a trim sheet and then being applied in context in the environment. And what this is allowing us to do is create these high detail looking environments without the constraint of having to texture every single object uniquely, and also not having to worry about Texel density limitations. So you can see here we have this pattern here that's being applied, and it's tiling across, as well as some of that tiling being broken up with some grunge and probably vertex blending and decals. You have another example here of these fence shapes. Then it really starts to become impressive, right? You really start to appreciate what texel density or what trim sheets can do by looking at large-scale environments. Here's this pretty large ship here. We can see the main character on the side of this ship. Yet at the same time, I mean, look at the detail in these wood panels. There is no hint of quality loss, no pixelation, no resolution drop. And all of that is because we're able to use trim sheets to tile this horizontally. And one of my favorite examples here is you see this, again, our main character. So we have Nikolai here. He shows our main character in context in front of this door that is probably 10 times his size. And we could, again, zoom into the door. The only pixelation is happening is just the capture, the resolution cap that we're dealing from the capture. But it looks amazing. And here, again, when it comes to using trim sheets, it's a combination of breaking our models up in a modular fashion, pre-planning, setting up our UVs, creating the geometry. We're going to look at that here today. So let's look at this in Blender, right? So I have this nice simple example of exactly kind of like how this is set up, right? I have just this simple plane here. We can look at this in solid shaded mode. We have this broken up by horizontal segments. Great. If we go back to material preview, we can see this is our geometry or a low poly geometry, and this is our high poly geometry, and we're able to get this high poly detailed information baked down. Now it really helps to understand that trim sheets can be made in a whole bunch of different ways. Look at this absolute beautiful graph here by Sam. He created this nice sci-fi wall environment corridor using pretty much substance designers, and it looks absolutely insane. You have that type of method, and then you have a method where you can just use traditional Maya, Blender, Max, and even ZBrush to create these high poly details that's used for tiling. So now we take this information, and instead of dealing with the limitation of going here and just like scaling this up and worrying about, now we start to deal with texel density loss. Instead, we can build that same type of wall here by grabbing the sections that we need from these horizontal texture sets. So I could grab, let's say, this part, just do a Shift D, move it in the Z axis, and then press P and separate by selection. And so that's how I get this separate piece. So I can delete this example. And if I move this up, add an array modifier, now I can start to increase this however many times that I need. What's really nice about this is you have complete control over this, right? So I can go in here and say, oh, now I want to change the material or the texture. You absolutely can. So not only can I move this in the X and Y, but I can increase the Texel density by scaling in the X. So now we start to scale and add more detail. And I could change this if we wanted to this nice brick texture. And so we're able to get a high level amount of detail, right? Just like this. And we can really, really zoom in and look at that. I mean, this is tiling materials, right? You might be saying, okay, so what? It's a tiling material. But now, instead of having each one of these pieces be a uniquely separate material, right? With each material having its own texture set, all of that could live in this single texture set. So you get really the best of both worlds. You get high level of fidelity and optimization, which is what game art optimization is all about. Hands down, one of my favorites, of course, The Last of Us. They just do such an amazing job really showcasing how to create these environments, right? So we have Jonathan here. He has these 2 samples. Check them out on ArtStation. And we look at all of these unique assets. And you're like, you ever just look at these materials and textures and you're like, man, just how are they creating such a high level of fidelity? Well, you can see clearly here what each one of these materials, where it's being applied. Now, what's interesting here is that they're using multiple trim sheets on this asset. So that is kind of 3 sets. But what you need to keep in mind is that if you look at the environment, there's a lot of this stone material. So they can build once, not only use it here on this single asset, but use it all throughout different parts of the environment whenever they have these stone material types. So a great workflow, a great ability to reuse what's already been made. And here comes that pre-planning, right? We look at real life, we look at materials, we look at textures. And if we look at the sequence here, now, like we talked in our last video, we looked at vertex blending examples, vertex color information. That's exactly what's being used here. So now they're taking this kind of moss material plus the trim sheets and then hiding the obvious tiling, using vines, geometry, all of this to make this such a unique looking asset. And you'll see another example of this as well. We have kind of an interior version. And I love this because what this does is a lot of people, in order to, we need to understand, in order to use vertex colors, you need vertex, right? It's a little bit hard to see, but you can see that these simple flat walls do have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 faces, right? That's needed, right, in order to do this next step, which is using that vertex color and vertex blending, painting information here, right? And you can see how that's done there. So another beautiful example, we've already looked at Assassin's Creed Mirage. We looked at this Naughty Dog example and a couple other various examples here. We can see Anthony with this brick and Legos. We have wood using this trim sheet technique here. So shout out to all the artists that went through, that post these breakdowns. They're so helpful to learn from. And one of the things that came up in my Discord was Valorant, right? If we look at Valorant, we have this breakdown here by Tobias, and he's using a combination of just tiling textures, tiling materials, as well as trim sheets, right? You can see these trims that are created in ZBrush in order to create these details here. When you start to think about these large scale environments, you need to stop thinking about uniquely texturing them and think about texturing them not only with tiling materials, but using a trim sheet that now we can create multiple material types in a single texture set, right? And then I love this resource here, The Art of Valorant. This one was posted around 2020. It's the developer or the artist was Lydia, and she just does an awesome job breaking down what goes into it. And that's where I pulled these images from. And if we look directly on the website, you can see how they build their environments. Obviously, they start with the block out, And then from there, they start to take that into production. The blockout can then be used at the same time. So it's not blocking developers. Developers can do what they need to do. Lighting artists can do what they need to do until everything kind of emerges into the final. So some really great breakdowns here. And you can look at this specifically like on this container here, right? So we have the base model, and you can just see these layers and layers and layers of material. And so we have the base, we have some color, and then you start to add detail through trim sheets, right? They give this nice little mini breakdown. They say, as far as texturing goes, we primarily use tiling textures and trim sheets on our buildings and large structures. These are created using a variety of programs such as ZBrush, Substance Designer, Substance Painter, and Photoshop. They do use custom textures on props when needed, such as a coffee machine in the kitchen or the forklift near the A site, right? So if we look here, again, you can see just the different paths, the main color paths, and then you start to see these minor details of decals, grunge, lighting, snow, add layered by layer, right? And a lot of this fidelity, a lot of this information is coming in phases, and it's coming from using these tileable textures and trim sheets. So similar workflows when you go from something like Valorant to The Last of Us. It's the same workflow, but with very different art styles. Again, my favorite part to understand is that you're able to just get such an amazing amount of detail out of a single texture set, right? That's really what it comes down to. But only if you're putting in that pre-planning and work to make sure you're kind of organized as you go. So with that, I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for that amazing breakdown, Aunmar. You just showed us the potential of trim sheets for breaking up the grid using AAA gaming examples. But how does this actually look when you're in real production yourself, optimizing a large hero asset for Unreal Engine? To show you the exact software pipeline, we pulled highlights directly from our new 3D environment masterclass with AAA veteran Tav Shande. In this quick segment, Tav skips the traditional skin texturing method and uses a custom script to align his UVs perfectly to a trim sheet. Let's dive into his pro workflow.
All right, hello everyone. So today we're going to be looking at UVing, and I'm going to be UVing this fountain, and specifically I'm going to be using a technique called trim texturing to texture the entire thing because it's kind of a large object in a way, not super large like a building, but just large enough where if you were making a prop of it, like, or a skin of the entire thing, you could do this because it's round, but you might not get the best resolution or texel density. And so you can see, like, if I do the shells, like that, there's this shell here in red, and then I moved it over one unit, and this just uses the same UV space as these over here. So I can just do a quarter of this fountain and get a skin, but this is a 4096 texture, so you're still getting okay texel density, but it's not as high as if you're going to do it with a trim texture. And so that's the low res, and I can hide that. And now this is the high res. It's just kind of like a flat plane with like 4 strips, and they have a kind of a bevel and a 45-degree angle in between each side, and that'll bake down into a very nice normal map, which I can show you in Substance Painter. This is the trim texture that I'm going to use. Very simple. Usually I have like some space down here for smaller details like the drains and all that stuff, but in this case I'm just going to use the steel up here to make the drains. So these are the tiles here, and I'll put this back over here. You see, and then the tiles, the concrete, and the iron or the steel, and then that should be all I need for this. And so if you want the bevel to continue properly, you want to line up the green edges with the green edges and the purple edges with the purple edges. And so you might need to flip or rotate some of your shells so that works. I call it A-Trim, but it's fast trim UV, and it's free on ArtStation, and I want to credit the person that made it. This is an awesome tool. It saved me so much time. He made a paid version and a free version. I have both. This is the free version that I just use for like quick trim adjustments, but you can customize the other one. You can customize this one too, and have different settings of how you want your trim to be aligned. So what I'm going to do now is instead of me trying to manually move this into place, I can just say the top one this is all 1024, 1024, 1024, 1024 to make this 4096, and so they're all equally divided, so it's really easy to do. I'll just say, okay, put that trim over here, and you can also say match trim height, and then you can say center it, and that it centers it on that trim section. Or I could say go down here, or go down here, or go down to the bottom one. So I'm saying, okay, top one is what I need because that's where the steel is. And notice how there's purple next to green. That's going to give you a divot or an indent, and you want it to look like a bevel. So what I'll do is either just rotate it 180. So now they're smooth across that, and I get that. And I also get another bevel down here. Okay, here we are in UE4, and usually I start with UE4 and then I'll work my way up to UE5 when I'm working on a pack, just for compatibility reasons. And so anyway, so here's the two models. That's kind of the old one to the right there, the square one, and then here's the one with the trim texturing, and you can kind of see the difference between the Texel density. Right now, when you get up really close to it, it holds up. You can see all the details, scratches there. You can see the kind of lines in there that make it look like a shutter, or kind of a really cool, like, futuristic Tron wheel or something. And when you look at the concrete here, it holds up, even when you get really close to it. Whereas if you look at the skin version, it's like it just doesn't hold up, and that's using they're both the same texture resolution, 4K, and here they are right here. 4K start to add up really quickly, and eventually you'll have to turn on like virtual textures to stream it in, but that's what I did for the road. The road has its own kind of tiling, and then everything is like layered on top as decals. So yeah, anyway, so that's UVing, and that's the in-game model, and hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
Well, that about wraps up this video. So as you can see, swapping from a basic skin texture completely changes the game for your resolution and texel density in Unreal Engine. To keep this video from being over an hour long, we had to compress hours of Tav's full process of detailed UV mapping, edge loop fixing, and vertex merging into just the highlights. But hopefully, combined with Aunmar's breakdowns, you'll now possess valuable insights into the pro AAA workflows that the best studios in the world use. We want to thank Aunmar Mohammed and Tav Shande for collaborating with us on this. Are you currently using these trim sheet workflows for your personal projects or as a working professional at your studio? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Perfect.